Buongiorno, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a mega haul to share with you and I'm so excited to finally share these fragrances. Some are not new, you may know about them because I've talked about them. They were on my wish list for 2024. I always share at the end of the year my wish list for the next one, and I'm so happy to finally take off some of the fragrances that are on this list. So if you want to see all the new fragrances that I've added to my collection recently, then please keep on watching. But before we start, if you are new to my channel, hi, welcome. My name is Noura and on this channel I mostly talk about fragrances. So if you are a fragrance lover, then please consider subscribing and also hit that notification bell so you will get notified when I upload any new video. I will also appreciate it if by the end of this video you found it helpful or you enjoyed it to give me a thumb up. That will help me a lot. And without further ado, let's start. Let's start with a fragrance, a designer fragrance that I've talked about in my best fruity florals. If you didn't catch that video, I will leave it linked down below. And it got a lot of hype like a year or 2 years ago, and I was so curious about this fragrance. It was almost impossible to find here in Italy. I don't know why. I finally found it. I actually got it from the airport. It was a blind buy because they didn't have the tester, and I'm talking about Jimmy Choo I Want Choo. This is, as I said, a fruity floral with a lot of vanilla. Vanilla is very heavy here, and I definitely get the hype because it's a very mass-pleasing fruity floral, especially with the added vanilla. It makes it almost all year round suitable. I personally wouldn't wear a fragrance like this in the heat of the summer, but for spring, autumn, even winter, I can pull this off because the vanilla is heavy enough in it for me to wear it during winter. Main notes that I personally get here are vanilla, peach and jasmine. And although I would definitely recommend this fragrance, I am not so sure that I'm going to keep it in my collection. But I feel like the vanilla is too heavy for me personally. However, I would definitely recommend this fragrance if you love fruity florals. You love a fruity floral that has a little bit of vanilla in it. Yeah, highly recommend it. I'm so curious about the Forever version, which has cherry in it, because if it's well done like this one, I will definitely enjoy it. So that was Jimmy Choo I Want Choo. Now let's get to the fragrances that I bought for reviews, and I have a full dedicated review on all of them. So I will go through them very quickly. If you want a detailed review on of these fragrances, you will find it in the description down below. Let's start with the newest release from Narciso Rodriguez. This is Musk Nude, and this is everything that I wanted the crystal version to be. It's a plush, light, fresh take on the DNA of For Her. It's girly but without being mass pleasing. I feel like the recent releases from Narciso Rodriguez, especially I'm talking about All of You, was kind of a disappointment for me. So I am so happy that they came out with this version where they combined elements of a mass pleasing scent with their original DNA, which I absolutely love. Narciso Rodriguez is one of my absolute favorite designers. I have a buying guide on all of his fragrances as well as a detailed review on all of them. So definitely check that video if you love Narciso Rodriguez. Main notes that I personally get here is definitely the musk, of course, as well as a concoction of white floral. It has also some dusty powderiness from the tonka bean, but it's not a sweet fragrance. So another great release from Narciso, and I'm so happy to have this bottle in my collection. Next we have the newest flanker from Scandal line. This is Jean Paul Gaultier Scandal Absolu. When I heard about this fragrance, I was a little bit skeptical because the original Scandal is too heavy for me. It's a sticky, honey, like Sexy fragrance, yes, of course, but it's too sweet for my liking, and the stickiness of the honey there I did not enjoy. However, when I tested that one in the stores, I was pleasantly surprised that it's not as heavy and sticky as the original one. So an absolute version, I don't know. It's definitely not an intense version of the original one. So how this one smells, I would say this is a floral, more complex take on the DNA of Scandal, and I would recommend this one over the original one. The original one was, apart from being too sticky and sweet, in my opinion, it was also very, very simplistic. This adds a little bit of complexity to the fragrance to make it more interesting in a way. So I definitely like it. I did wear it on a couple of occasions, shockingly, not just for testing it, but I don't think that I'm going to keep this one. I feel like this fragrance, although I do like it, is not really representing me in a way. It's not me. And I have, for example, Scandal by Night, which I absolutely adore, that I would go for more than this one. However, I would highly recommend this fragrance. If you love the original DNA and you want something a little bit more complex, I would definitely recommend it. Now, let's get to a little bit of a controversial opinion, because the next fragrance is from a brand that is extremely hyped. This is Kayali Vanilla Candy Rock Sugar. This smells like you have entered a candy store. Yes, the vanilla is there, yes, but it's not like the Vanilla 28, which I have. It's a very synthetic, sweet, bubblegummy vanilla. It just smells like a candy store to me. There is also a very sweet pear note, which for a lot of people makes them think about La Belle from Jean Paul Gaultier. I personally don't get like a real resemblance between the two. Yes, both of them have this sweet pear note, but I mean, La Belle is one of my favorite fragrances of all time. Definitely La Belle I would prefer to this one. This is a little bit juvenile, very teenager-like in my opinion. Too synthetic, very, very synthetic. Again, if you want a full review on it, you will find it in the description down below. So this fragrance I would not recommend. Unless you want to smell like a candy store, go for it. But for that amount of money, no. Last fragrance from those that I did a review or a dedicated review on is the newest flanker from Chloe Nomade. Now I had all the flankers of Nomade at one point. Now I have only two. This has nothing to do again with the original one. So it seems like recently they abandoned the idea of a modern chypre, and they are going, in my opinion, for more of an interpretation of the Nomade, like the name. So this one is inspired by Egypt, by a specific note that is considered the origin of the first perfume in the world. Of course, I cannot say if it really smells like that or not, but I'm really, really enjoying this fragrance. A lot of people seem to smell Libre DNA in this one. I'm not a fan of Libre, let me tell you. I hate Libre. Love the bottle, hate the juice. And I just can't get the resemblance. Yes, both of them have an orange blossom note in them. But here it's not screechy, it's not, you know, very pungent to my nose like Libre is. This is more sophisticated, more elegant in my opinion, and it has this dark side. So it has almost like an incensey feeling or note in it. There is no incense here, and I don't know what gives this effect, but it has almost this dark, mysterious aspect to it. So that was a release that I would definitely recommend. I really love this new interpretation, and it's definitely a good addition for the Chloe line. They never created something similar to this fragrance. So bravo Chloe, and I would definitely recommend this fragrance. Now let's get to all the new fragrances in my collection that I'm so happy to share with you. Let's start with the first one that was the winner of one of my Testing Hyped Up Niche Fragrances episode. This is Maison Mataha Escapade Gourmand. This is a gorgeous, sweet bakery vanilla fragrance. Some of you will be shocked if you know me. I never liked these kind of vanillas, but this one is special. I already wore it a couple of times and oh, so many compliments. This is just a very simple vanilla actually. It's not overly complicated. It's sweet, like bakery vanilla, but it doesn't smell very synthetic. It's not generic. I don't know what is in this juice, but it smells divine. And it's a perfect layering fragrance actually. Because of this simplistic aspect of it, it really can be layered with a lot of fragrances if you want to add a little bit of a sweet vanilla touch to a fragrance. The only thing that I have to mention is the performance. Now, it does last about 5 to 6 hours max, like max, if you really overspray it. Projection is not very strong, but I noticed that with this fragrance, if you don't smell it, people will smell you. So I didn't smell the fragrance anymore, but I got compliments. So it means that it's one of these fragrances that after a while you will get anosmic to it or you will not smell it, but people will definitely will. Now, is it worth the price tag? Honestly, absolutely not. I would not recommend it unless you get it on a deal. I was fortunate enough to find a person who is selling this fragrance because she got it because of the hype, you know, and she didn't like it, and I've got it almost half price off. And it was barely touched. But paying like the full price, I personally wouldn't even do it. And I am so obsessed with the scent. So Escapade Gourmand is definitely worth the hype, but not worth the money. Next is a fragrance that I cannot wait to open with you guys. This is Ingenious Ginger from Goldfield and Banks. Another winner of my Testing Hyped Up Niche Fragrances, the one on the new releases. I will leave that video linked down below. Goldfield and Banks is one of my favorite buying guides I've ever done. I really need to update that buying guide. And I was not really intrigued by this release. The recent releases from this brand I did not really enjoy. And I am not like a particular ginger girl, but this fragrance I really love. Now here is a classic bottle from Goldfield and Banks. Let's give it a sniff. Actually, let me spray it on my skin. We have here a plethora of citrusy notes. There is lemon, there is some mandarin orange if I'm not mistaken. There is bergamot alongside the ginger and has kind of a patchouli, floral, some vanilla base. Oh, the end result is so beautiful. I think this will be one of my staples in my summer fragrances. I am a citrusy lover. During summer, I am a citrusy girl. I almost don't touch any other fragrances, just my mandarin basilic, my arancia di capri, myrto di panarea, all these very citrusy, slightly aromatic fragrances. And I feel like this one will definitely join these fragrances. It's so refreshing and it's unisex. Sorry, I had to come close to the camera because the sun is really chasing me. Yes, this is definitely a hit, a gorgeous summer fragrance. The ginger is not too zingy. It just gives a bite to the citruses, so it makes it very refreshing, very invigorating, and it's so beautiful and has good performance. So highly recommend Ingenious Ginger from Goldfield and Banks. This is a gorgeous summer fragrance. If you love your citruses during summer like I do, get yourself this one. It's definitely worth the hype. Another fragrance from the same episode. Oh my god, I fell in love with this fragrance, and I'm actually speaking about that episode from Testing Hyped Up Niche Fragrances. Another win was this beauty here. This is Sun-Kissed Goddess from Kilian, a gorgeous tropical fragrance. I am so happy that I got this fragrance because it's very difficult to find Kilian on on discount, at least here in Italy. But again, I found someone selling this fragrance. It's not half price off, but with a decent discount, and it was still intact. No one touched it, still wrapped, everything. So I am so happy that I got myself this bottle because this is a limited edition. People say it's very, very similar to the last year's one. I can't say if it's true or not because I've never smelled someone from last year, but this one, oh, it's so, so good. Again, I am not a tropical fragrance girl at all. I do have some tropical fragrances, yes. They are mainly more light, fresh. So when I hear about coconut monoi-like fragrances, where there is also the tiare flower, I usually stay away from these kind of fragrances because they can be quite suffocating for me. Now, this has your typical monoi concoction. So it has tiare flower and coconut. Oh, but it's so good. It's blended in such a gorgeous way with all the other notes, the neroli, the ylang ylang. I mean, if you look at the notes, you would consider something very, very heavy, something like Guerlain terracotta. And they do have some similarities. I'm not saying that they are totally different fragrances, but there is something about this one in particular that makes it for me very tolerable. I don't know what it is, but I really love this fragrance. It was for me love at first sniff. Now I am starting really to enjoy Kilian, which is not really great news for my wallet because if you think about it, this is a 50 ml if I'm not mistaken. Yes, so like small bottle for over 200 euros. It's really much. So again, I absolutely would recommend this fragrance. Love the scent, but not for full price. That was Sun-Kissed Goddess from Kilian. Yes, this is actually my first Kilian in my collection, as well as Ingenious Ginger is my first Cold Feel and Bangs fragrance, or full bottle, let's say. Next are two fragrances that are on my wish list for 2024, and it's from Acro. I talked about it in my wish list and in my best discoveries of 2023. Rise and Bake. Now, Rise is again something that I would usually not like. So it's a tropical, more is like a sweet tropical pina colada fragrance. So again, nothing that I usually go for, but I really love it. There is something, again, it's about the blend. How these fragrances are blended is what makes them like bearable for me. So you get the coconut, this pina colada scent. I feel like I smell also ananas. It's just so gorgeous and has good longevity and sillage. So it checks all the boxes. Next one for me is the best from the brand till now. This is Bake. If you love Lyra from Xerjoff, you will love this one. It's again this lemon meringue pie. It's refreshing, delicious at the same time. The lemon here is very invigorating, and I feel like from these kind of fragrances, I enjoy those who have a little bit of something that will uplift the fragrance. In this case, it's the lemon. So if you want to smell like a lemon cake, Bake is for you. And Acro actually is owned by Oliver Crisp, which is the perfumer to go to when you are looking for a gourmand scent. So it's not a surprise that he created these stunning, absolutely stunning fragrances, and they are not too expensive for a niche brand. Next is a total blind buy. This is Almond Harmony from the House of Oud. House of Oud is one of these brands that I am really intrigued by because people seem to absolutely love their creations. I found someone, again, selling this one closed, not touched, for half the price. So I looked up the notes because I was intrigued. Almond, I love almonds actually in fragrances. So I looked up the notes and I found like the notes look very interesting to me. So I did take the risk and get this fragrance. Now I didn't show you the bottle, the famous eggs from the House of Oud. Since Golden Powder, I got some samples of the House of Oud. And my issue with this brand in general is the longevity. Very, very light, almost unnoticeable fragrances. And this is not an exception. Now, when you spray it, you get the fragrance, you get the smell, and it's very, very luxurious, very refined, very, very beautiful scent. I'm not complaining about the scent itself. It's like this very light, beautiful almond with heliotrope, two of the notes that go very, very well together. So it has this powderiness, it has this almond touch, vanilla. So it screams gourmand, but it's not. I do not really associate gourmand fragrances with elegance, but this is just extremely, extremely, extremely elegant fragrance. But the performance, like, I have to be honest, when I first sprayed it, I said, okay, I got scammed because there is no way that I would pay, now I'm talking about the full price, such an amount of money for this performance. But then I remembered that when I tested Golden Powder, I got the same experience. It was an extremely light, although the notes must be heavy, like very persisting notes. It was an extremely light experience. After getting this fragrance, I got also some samples of others from the House of Oud, and my experience is the same. The whole brand is watered down, in my opinion. It's not light, like fresh and airy. No, it's watered down. And it's a shame because the scent profile is so great. This fragrance I would not recommend, but I'm curious about the brand still. Maybe I just tested those who are weak in their collection. So tell me your opinion about the House of Oud. I'm so curious about it. Which fragrances should I test? It's again another Italian brand that I'm really curious about, so maybe I can include it in my Italian brands series. So looking forward to see your comments down below. Now let's get to a beautiful fresh summer fragrance again from Atelier des Ors. This is Blanc Polychrome. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. It's the most beautiful bottle from the brand, in my opinion. And the bottle really represents the juice. It's an extremely invigorating fresh fragrance with a petit grain and neroli scent. And you may say, you do not like these notes. Yes, I totally don't like neroli and petit grain, generally speaking, but in this fragrance it just works. It has this almost fizzy, bubbly feeling to it. And I totally agree with Josephine from Jus de Rose. She describes it as sipping San Pellegrino under an orange tree. I think that was her description. It's very cold and fizzy and fresh and invigorating, and has good performance for these kind of scents. So yes, I am so happy that I finally got this fragrance in my collection. Next purchase is a backup bottle. This is Guerlain Mandarin Basilic, but the 40 edition. It contains the fragrance in the 40 version and the candle. And the candle is so cute. Honestly, I don't want to open it yet. So I am keeping it like that until the moment arrives where I will open it. The 40 version I would definitely recommend. Now, completely honest again, as a scent profile, I love the original Mandarin Basilic over any of these limited edition or even the 40 version. But I did smell the 40 version before buying this set, and I felt like it's definitely a more persistent, like a 40 version. Definitely a stronger version, as the name says, of Mandarin Basilic. The changes that are made in the fragrance to make it long lasting, I don't enjoy particularly, but it's not bad in the sense that it really changes totally the scent profile to the point that I would not purchase it or I would not enjoy it. Now, last full bottle, because I do have some travel size to share with you, is very, very random. And honestly, I don't know what possessed me to get this fragrance. It's again from the Aqua Allegoria line. This is Pera Granita. I don't know, what was I thinking when I got this fragrance? It's not like I blind bought it. I actually tested it. And I don't know, was I in a compulsive buying mood? What is happening? I don't know. So this is what you would expect from Aqua Allegoria when it comes to a fruity fragrance. It smells fresh, like all Aqua Allegoria line with the pear, but the pear note here is extremely synthetic. It's slightly sweet, so it's not like your juicy pear note. So it really stands out when we speak about like fresh pear fragrances. It has also a predominant note of orange blossom, but the orange blossom that I don't like, and it smells weird and cheap. I am, however, keeping it because, stay for it, I am going to do a buying guide on the Aqua Allegoria line. I am totally dedicated. I will definitely do it this summer. This is the second year that I wanted to do this buying guide, and I never got it in time. But this year I will definitely do it. So definitely stay tuned for that buying guide. Now let's get to the travel size fragrances. Carthusia. Now, if you don't know about Carthusia, it's a very, very ancient brand, originated in Capri in Italy. And make sure, if you ever visit Capri, to visit the main stores there. I will leave the location here, so make sure that this will be your first stop, not the other shops, because they have a lot of shops in the island and also in Naples. But I just love that one because it has, it's like an experience. They have like outside, like these, I don't know how to call them, samples, like when you can open and smell the fragrances and everything. I've got two fragrances or two travel size. One is definitely in a travel size and the other one is actually a 25 ml, but I'm going to consider it a travel size because it's very, very small. So we have Mediterraneo and Amare. Let's start with Mediterraneo. This, if I remember correctly, was a fresh fragrance. Here is the small bottle. I love, like, their logo is very, very iconic and very beautiful. Unfortunately, for the small sizes, they don't have an atomizer, so I will just put like that. Now, honestly speaking, this is a very, very old house. And it smells very old. Like, their whole approach to fragrances is a little bit old-fashioned. But I have to say, the one that I liked the most was this one, because it is a fresh fragrance. So it's kind of a cologne. So the colognes by definition are a little bit old-fashioned, and they have like a a stable structure. So yeah, I enjoyed this one. I also got the shower gel. I feel like the shower gel will be perfect for summer, especially. It's lemony. It has like this aromatic eucalyptus note, which I really enjoy actually. Mint, some flowers, like wildflowers. And the whole experience is quite refreshing and nice, but I was not sure if I wanted to really commit to a full bottle, so I got myself the small one to test it around and see if I enjoy it enough to get a full bottle of it. The next one was the one that I was mostly excited about because the notes were very, very intriguing to me. This is Amare, and it's an oceanic, salty fragrance. Love the bottle of this fragrance. It's beautiful. But when I tested it in the store, I was a little bit underwhelmed. Because when you look on Fragrantica, you will see that people compare it to a very beautiful, unique scent from Giorgio Armani or from the Armani Privé line, and it is Bleu Turquoise. Now, does it really smell like Bleu Turquoise? I have to disagree, actually. Again, this is a roll-on, which is not my favorite way, but let's see. Yeah. I don't get it. I don't get it, like the resemblance with Armani Bleu Turquoise. Bleu Turquoise is very, very unique because it's a unique salty vanilla. Here, we are not talking about a vanilla fragrance. It's more oceanic. It's more aromatic. I smell the rosemary. I smell also the salt. And I feel like it's too masculine. So I was expecting something on like more of an affordable version of Armani Privé Bleu Turquoise, but it's not. It's a good fragrance. I'm not going to say that it's not, but it's more masculine for me and more on the aromatic side, which it's not what I expected. If it was more oceanic, more watery, I would have enjoyed it more. And it's a shame because I really, really love the bottle. Next, I have a travel size from Bohemian Lime from Goldfield & Banks. Actually, Bohemian Lime was the fragrance that was on my wish list for the like 2 years or even more. Since I've discovered Goldfield & Banks, I loved Bohemian Lime. Was my favorite one. It has a particular note of finger lime. I don't know if what makes this fragrance so particular, so unique is this note, because of course I'm not from Australia, so I don't know how finger lime smells. How does it compare to regular lime? But it's such a beautiful, unique, fresh, citrusy fragrance, and it has this sillage that I absolutely adore, but I never got the fragrance. So I did mention that in my wish list again video, that the fact that I don't buy this fragrance maybe is because I have something similar. Maybe I do not enjoy it enough as I thought. So I decided to get a travel size and see. Next is another Kilian fragrance. This is Smoking Hot. This is so beautiful, guys. It's an extremely sexy fragrance, but I don't feel like it's a fragrance that I am committed to a full bottle of. So actually, this is not for testing. I got a travel size because I feel like this kind of scent profile I'm not going to use enough to get myself a full bottle. This is a smoky, spicy tobacco fragrance. So yes, another fruity tobacco, let's say, because it has apple in it. Oh, the apple note. It's so beautiful in this fragrance. It's gorgeous. Love the apple note here. It smells just like a shisha, like an apple shisha. So if you know that smell, you want to smell like it, this is definitely it. Definitely up there with my Tom Ford Tobacco Vanille. In these very sweet tobacco fragrances. But again, I have tobacco vanille in a travel size for years now, and I've never finished that fragrance because I don't have occasions to wear such a fragrance. So a travel size is more than enough, and I love the scent would highly recommend it if you love apples and you love the sweet tobacco fragrances. Oh my god, this is gorgeous. Last fragrance I just got today. It's just like my first impression, but I couldn't wait to tell you about it. Now, I have talked about kayali, and that yes, I do have some fragrances from kayali that I absolutely love, but a lot of the fragrances are definitely overhyped, and my point is that they are overpriced. Yes, the packaging is gorgeous, as I said, but still the juice is just not enough. Now, here I have the evidence for that. If you love pistachio gelato or yum pistachio gelato, a lot of people claim that it smells like an authentic gelato pistachio. As I said, what kind of gelato pistachio did you eat? Because it doesn't smell like a gelato pistachio. Now, it's not a bad fragrance per se, but it's just not what I expected, let's say, from the fragrance. And this one is everything that I wanted for that fragrance to be. This is from L'Herbolario. This is very affordable brand here in Italy, and it's called Pistachio, which is pistachio. Oh my god. Pistachio and caramel in a bottle. So good. This smells like a pistachio gelato, and you have the topping of caramel on it. This is how this fragrance smells. It's extremely, extremely yummy and just delicious. Delicious. If you love pistachio fragrances, you would love this one. Now, again, I've just bought this fragrance today, and I wore it only once. So I cannot tell you about the fragrance in general, performance, everything. So if it really turns out to be exactly that, this will be the best gourmand, affordable fragrance you can imagine. This is a 10 ml and I paid 12 euros for it. Now, I am not totally sure about the price, but I think that the lady told me that the 50 ml costs 27 euros, which is in line with other fragrances from that particular brand. Anyway, if you love pistachio, you have to smell this one because it smells absolutely gorgeous and yummy. Caramel and pistachio in a bottle. So these were all the fragrances that I've got recently. Actually, it's not recently, like almost from the beginning of the year I started to collect these fragrances. Definitely stay tuned for the buying guide of Aqua Allegoria, as well as my ruthless declutter and my perfume wardrobe organization. I hope you liked this video and you found it helpful. If you did, please give it a thumb up and consider subscribing to my channel. Don't forget to tell me your opinion about this fragrance in the comments down below, and also tell me about the House of Oud, because I'm very, very, very curious about this brand. Thanks a lot for watching and see you next time. Ciao!